AfterBuzz fans, welcome back to The Rookie, Season 1, Episode 18, Trouble on the Homefront. I'm calling it. We got Nolan served, West family drama, the Brady list, predictions and news from Cherry. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Wow, there's three of us.
We're all here. It's a party.
It's The Rookie.
We are back in full effect.
Yes. Cherry, hello. Hi.
Hi, Michael.
Welcome.
It's been so long I don't even recognize
It's good to see everyone.
What's up, y'all?
Episode 18. Can you believe it? 18 episodes in. Season 1 of ABC's hits The Rookie. We got a really jam-packed episode tonight, but don't forget to subscribe, rate, review. Obviously, 5 stars. Go back, tell your friends, do it again. Comment, like. Thank you for joining us in the live chat. We'll get to you guys throughout tonight's episode, but let's start with Nolan being served.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you guys are served. Let's go. What's up? What did you think about starting the episode with Nolan getting served?
I was distracted by the porcupine quills. That was hilarious. It was a good sight gag.
If you had 14 seconds in for Cherry doing that, okay. What'd you think, Cass?
For a split second, I forgot that Nolan had already been divorced, and I was like, wait, hold on. Did he just get served papers by his wife? Because I forgot that he had been divorced, because I guess a lot of times I only think of people getting served when they're getting divorced, at least on TV anyways. But, I mean, you know, it's something that I guess we really don't think about. Normally you only really, I guess it's only really made public when it's a big deal, when the cop is, you know, when there's an officer involved shooting, or, you know, a cop has done something crazy, you know, just crazy, outlandish, or planted evidence, or it's just something that's big, and it's, you know, and it draws a lot of attention, it's very controversial, and then you kind of hear when there's lawsuits involved. When it's something small like this, we don't really get to see it, so that was kind of cool, because I'm sure, like they said, it happens a lot, and I wasn't aware that, you know, for that small petty stuff, well, you have people to do that.
You say small. This is a good time to ask the audience. You guys are watching us. Did you guys think it was small what happened that he got served? Because I'm interested to know. You say it's small, but it seemed like it's the first time Nolan's been served. Didn't seem small in the moment to him. I agree it's kind of not that big a deal, because what is it? Apparently, when he was in a chase, in pursuit, he nudged a guy on running by, dislocated the guy's shoulder, so he says. So, I mean, you say small,
major flop right there.
I want to hear...
And for all my sports fans, you know what flopping is.
I want to hear...
And it just...
I want to hear from our audience, if you guys thought, did you think Nolan getting served was a small thing or bigger than small? Chaos says small. What do you say, Cherry?
Well, Stephen Otten in the chat says it happens a lot in real life, and I think a lot of people would look at it as winning the lottery. You sort of like fall out and like, whoa, the city will pay and give me some money. And the $50,000 I think was asked because that's a small enough amount where normally they would just settle. But Nolan's all prideful, and he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to pay you for nothing. So
I mean, as he should be, though. I mean, I'm not going to admit to something just to make the peace. Like, if I didn't do it, I didn't do it.
However, there is going to be video of him doing it. Let's save that, because we're going to get to that later. But before we move on, Nolan is the oldest cop, and he's paired with who for his lawyer?
Peter Pan from Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
Okay, also known to us for, you know, those watching The Rookie has Simon Parks Jr.
Yeah, we'll bring that back to The Rookie there.
You know, you hear leading up to the introduction of him, you hear, you know, the other cops, you know, they talk about, you know, in reverence, they talk about Simon Parks, like, oh man, like, yeah, he's the best of the best. You know, that's the guy. He's gonna get you taken care of. And then, you know, in comes Simon Parks Jr., who's, you know, still looks like he could, you know, be in school right now.
That's right.
But
and so oldest officer, youngest lawyer.
Right.
He's on his first case, basically.
First
just
case.
got out, but he might be a whiz kid, right?
Not only that, but I'll say this: even from his introduction and their initial interaction, your boy was confident. He was unwavering. Never once did he say, well, I don't know. Like, he was like, no, I need you to relax, have a seat. I got this.
So let's hold on to the rest of this case, because it develops through tonight's episode. And let's go to what we see kind of next, and that is Jenkins, a robbery homicide detective, is arrested.
He got them bracelets.
Because he is apparently a dirty cop, and he's on the Brady list. The first time I've ever heard the Brady list. Have you guys heard the Brady list out there? Let us know in the chat. What'd you guys think? Had you heard of the Brady list? I'd never heard of this.
I had never heard of that.
I've never heard of the Brady list, but you know
I
what
know about the
have
Brady
heard?
Bunch.
What I have heard is, of course, AfterBuzz TV, which we're super excited to be on every night, showing all the TV from reality to drama to sci-fi. You can find anything you want to watch here on AfterBuzz TV, and we love for you not only to watch it on our YouTube channel, but also to join us on Apple for our podcast. We are wanting you to come to us every night to find anything you want to watch. Everything from sci-fi to drama, and give us a thumbs up or 5-star rating. So please keep tuning in, please subscribe, and keep watching with us because we always want to buzz you later.
Boom. Well, that was an interesting
I like
segue.
that.
Let's
Buzz you later. Okay.
That's an interesting segue.
That's right. Great job. So let's get back to the Brady list and the record of dirty cops. Also, Detective Jenkins is under arrest for perjury. So he's got multiple things. Interestingly, apparently 10 years ago he had lied. So this stuff stays with you. There's no X amount of years and you're good to go. Innocent woman has been convicted in jail for 10 years because of him. That leads us to kind of the premise of tonight's episode, where some of the officers, they break off in their pairs and they're going to search out different cases.
They are all chasing the 3 people who were first released, which I thought was interesting, especially when we saw the Homefront with Talia and Dylan. I wasn't sure exactly who he was, and I wasn't sure what her relationship was with him and Terry Wright, but I thought that was as fascinating as Samantha Bennett. Personally, I think a lawyer should have really reached out to her from the get-go, because that's a major lawsuit right there, not for $50,000
Well, they're told to observe and report.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Harass.
it. Remember.
Look for something to arrest them
So
for.
they're
yeah.
told to observe and report. It seems
And
like
unless it's actionable,
it
you
seemed
don't
like
do
they
anything.
did more than observe and report though in tonight's episode, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't be so quick to say that.
Okay.
So let's see. When we get first introduced to Terry, they approach him. He instantly kind of recognizes Officer Bishop, and she just downplays it like, yeah, you must got me mixed up with somebody else. And they kind of just basically say, okay, look, you got a second chance. You're out. Don't mess it up. We are watching you. I thought that was pretty, yeah. They observed.
They did. I say they did more than observe. You guys let us know. Did you think they did more of? It's okay, but originally we're told they're going to observe. Obviously, it leads into more things. Let's get to some of those cases, right? Because first we have one convict or ex-convict that's now in. They're basically in the hospital. Or
Yeah, we have Mr. Kegel.
Right?
Mr. and Mrs. Kegel, which I
how'd
thought
that work
was
out?
funny for other reasons. But would you like to talk about
I thought
that?
it was hilarious. I mean, he was obviously her ideal dream man. She would be able to say, I'm married without having to deal with her husband. Then he gets out and he wants to have marital relations. He was hot and clammy and gross. And I thought it was really funny the way Bradford asked, what's the appeal of marrying someone in jail? And I'm like, well, you get to say you're married without having to deal with your husband.
But see, right, I mean, that is one thing. And I can't really speak to what the appeal is because I don't know. But there is a show called Love After Lockup where they kind of dive into that thing. So by all means, shout out. If you guys, have WeTV, definitely check that out. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, it's a combination of maybe you can get that bad boy or that bad girl, but they're also in jail and maybe possibly trying to change your life. So you can kind of feel like you're maybe helping them change your life. Some people like projects, things that they can fix.
Well, it was interesting because
Not in her case, obviously. She didn't think he was going to get out.
she was so happy when he was in, but once he got out of jail, it
She had
changed everything.
zero time. She was definitely not trying to break my man's off.
And
she made him some.
dirty clams, poisoned clams.
Poison.
Yeah.
And because of that, she poisoned her life and she gets arrested.
Boom.
Yes.
That's
She
right.
should have just kicked him out.
Now, here's a question. Should he stay with her? Because now the roles are reversed. She is, he's now a prison husband, and she is, the prisoner. So should he stay with her?
Well,
You know he's gonna leave.
what do you
her.
think, Cherry?
I mean, I would leave. Yeah,
I would leave.
Yeah,
You
you tried to
poison
poison
me.
me. Yeah, exactly.
You should leave.
All day.
What do you guys think out there? Let us know. Should he stay or should he go? Well, I thought that was a pretty basic arrest, but let's go to another arrest or scene with another partner, and we see Weston Lopez, and we also see a woman with a bat.
Oh, I felt bad for Samantha.
Yeah.
Samantha was having a major nervous breakdown
She
and a
was.
freak out.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I can't blame her. I mean, how would you react coming to where you left your family and they're all gone?
Okay, so I am a little bit more calm and collected in some of these situations, but by all means, I'm not gonna knock her. I understand she's very emotional. She's caught up. You are excited once you find out you're getting released because you knew you didn't do anything wrong in the first place, and the first thing you're thinking about is I want to see my kid, and that's all she was trying to do. And then she gets there and she's just not getting any answers that she wants, and she's like, "Yo, I got this bat, and if you want to get crazy, we can get crazy." If you know where that came from. So, my man's wasn't giving up any information. She was just upset. At the end of the day, she wanted to be able to see her kid and prove that, hey, look, I'm out. And that shows you that I'm not the person that they made me out to be when they locked me up. So she's really upset. And I'm not going to lie, I understood, and it broke my heart when they initially arrested her because I was thinking like, oh, man, now she's about to go back to jail.
Yep.
Speaking of jail, let's go back to Officer Nolan, because as we continue on tonight's episode, we start to see that now they're going to have their first kind of informational meeting with both parties and a mediator, right? And what happens? We immediately see some comedy. We see this comedy not just from our mediator, but also from our young lawyer and Nolan. And what were you guys thinking? I mean, you said that our youngest lawyer has swag. Why'd you say that?
My man was dressed nice. He was cool. He definitely, was on his A game with his attire, hence the swag. But no, the swag also is, another word for the fact that, my man, he was confident. He had no doubt that, look, if you let me do what I'm here to do, I got you.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, it was just a matter of Nolan judging a book by its cover, which we all, he's experienced that, where he's, the oldest rookie and people always judge him, think he's not capable of, keeping up with the younger rookies, and he always has to prove them wrong. And this was the same situation where Simon Parks Jr., excuse me, had to prove him wrong. Like, look, even though I'm young, dude, check my lineage, bro. Google my dad. I got this.
Yeah, Cherry.
Brady, California in the chat says, as a lawyer, I hated Nolan today. And I have to agree, Nolan was constantly trying to undermine him his little comments of, I took a couple of law classes. Big whooping deal. He passed the bar on the very first try, so whoop whoop. Junior had it in control, and he constantly interrupted. And his I'm sorry. Anyone who's ever watched a legal drama knows you can't say I'm sorry. I'm sorry is an admission of guilt.
Right. So
once again, hands up.
Oh, boom, all day. And then, okay, real quick, because I know, Mike, you want to talk, but, okay, so
keep doing your thing.
Can we acknowledge my man said emotional whiplash? Now, when he said that, while it was humorous, all I kept thinking was the only whiplash you about to have right now is the whiplash from your head going back and forth when I slapped the taste out your mouth. Because my man was a bold-faced lie talking about, the emotional whiplash I have to keep reliving every day.
And as Junior said, this is the fourth lawsuit like this that he's brought in. This must be how he makes a living.
Clearly.
Must be nice. I mean,
That's right.
$50,000 a pop.
Well, so you guys mentioned that Nolan was ridiculous at the hearing. He also said before the hearing, he said, you get what you get. Interesting quote when he's, because he's going to be paired up with the youngest lawyer.
Right.
Now, in that initial hearing, as you say, he admits guilt and he's interrupting and he says, I'm sorry. And so we continuously hear how now the demands are going up. Well, you just admitted that you did it. Now we're going to ask for $100,000. Right?
Yeah, because my man conned him. He tricked him into. He played that emotional, all these times that these police have done this to me, and no one's just said they're sorry. And then that's like, oh, that's all you want? And I probably would have done that same thing. I'm like, dude, that's all you... I'm sorry, bro. I'll even give you a homie hug. Like, for real. Just if that's going to make you feel better and we can end this, because I got stuff to do.
Yes, you
So
do.
I understand, but again, you can't say I'm sorry in these kind of situations.
That's
Like
right.
Simon said, shut up.
He did.
Or, as ER's grandpa in the chat said, Nolan's arrogance was really getting on my nerves. A nice twist in that I was expecting a five-ish Finkel type. Oh, lawyer. Which is true. I mean, I love Nolan. I love his emotional community policing. But you can't use emotional community policing and kindness in the middle of a lawsuit, especially with a judge who already found him annoying.
So the judge mediator, he actually calls Nolan's basically, he calls a flag on him, and he calls it roughing the pedestrian. I like that. That was a good joke. What did you guys think out there? Did you like that one, roughing the pedestrian? You got the football tie, and you see what happened there? So I thought that was interesting. I like the comedy in tonight's episode, I got to say. From all the episodes, this one was pretty comedic. Let's talk about Bradford and Chen, because we really haven't yet. And they're in basically a scenario that's they're going to play paintball.
I loved it. I've always wanted to play paintball.
Have you ever played?
God, no, I don't like
You just
to be
want
hit.
to play.
I want to play, but I want to play where I don't get hit by a paintball because it looks like it hurts.
So you just
But
need to be good then.
I loved Tim Bradford while he was like analyzing where he would be in the situation to try and catch everybody else so you could shoot into the other guy was really competitive. It was so many parallels to Bradford and his not allowing himself to rest and relax, which will affect him as a police officer where he would just freak out and rage, I think.
I gotta ask you guys out there now. A little bit before this, we see them talking, Bradford and Chen, asks, "What are your hobbies? Like, what are you doing outside of this?" And Bradford says that he likes to work out.
Right.
Chen tells him that's not a hobby.
Anything that has work in the
not a
title
hobby.
is not
So-
relaxing.
Is that true?
No, I like going to my gym classes.
Yeah.
Is working out a hobby? Let us know.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is.
That's
Yes.
two. I think it's a hobby.
It's
Chen
not a
doesn't
hobby
think
that
it's a
everybody
hobby.
likes, but
Agreed.
it's a hobby.
Agreed. So I don't know what they're doing with the writers there that said it's not a hobby, but I think it was a hobby. I think you're wrong, Chen. But let us know out there if you're watching our episode. Is working out a hobby? It's a good question. I'm curious because they said it's not. I think it is. So do you guys. We're on the same page. We're a team, right?
Teamwork
We're
makes the
a
dream
team.
work.
All right, guys, we're killing it in here. So, so you don't want to play paintball, but there's a paintball scenario going on. They have to go in there, find the guy who's taking paintball too aggressively, right? I mean, he basically stabbed the guy.
Yes, with that branch. And I was like, how hard did you stab him with a branch where you go in like that? And then he keeps playing.
Right. It's like, who stabbed somebody and then just like, yeah, okay, cool. I got to get around this corner because I got to get this other guy.
And he was playing with another group of people. Didn't everybody else not see him stab somebody with a tree branch?
It's commitment.
Or maybe he pushed him and didn't realize.
See, and that's kind of what I thought initially, but then I was also thinking it was it was front facing the way it was.
But if he pushed him like this into it, and then like this, and then walked away,
okay, possibly that could have been that, and then he didn't know intention. He didn't know he did that.
Because it was like kind of like sawed off. It wasn't like sawed. It was like they'd worried it to get it off and everything.
And that he is Jimmy. So Jimmy's on the course. And now Bradford and Chen are going to go find him. They do. And then, amazingly, they don't want anyone to shoot, but then they shoot Jimmy with the paintball. Yeah.
Where did he pick up the paintball gun? I didn't even notice that.
Who knows?
Well, they
I
loaded
did
him
like
and they got
Bradford
him.
in that. That was hilarious
Yeah.
with the paintball. The way he was like, where would I be? Highest place ever. And he runs up into that house.
Right.
That was cool. And I liked how his boot was kind of like chiding him. Their relationship over the season has gotten better and better.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
the
better. I really like
development.
it. And I'm happy they're not trying to make it look like they're boyfriend and girlfriend or anything like that.
All right, well,
Yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah. But usually, whenever you have a male and a female,
right.
they're exactly
Speaking
like they're
of
gonna-
relationships growing and evolving, how about Officer Lopez?
Right?
Get
What
it,
was
girl.
his, what was
Get
his
it,
name?
get it,
Did
get
we
it.
ever get his name?
Did we get his name?
Can
Let us
somebody
know in
tell
the
us
chat.
what the lawyer's name was?
I mean,
Shout out Tanya if you're in the chat. Can you let us
Lawyer
know
and Lopez
what the
doing
name
their
is for the
thing.
lawyer?
At the same time, let's bring into the conversation. How about Dylan? Because he played. That's a big part of tonight's episode, right?
Right, it is.
Dylan,
actually.
big part of tonight's episode. And what'd you guys think about it? I mean, did you see the scenario playing out as it did, or what'd you think about Dylan?
I knew Dylan had some sort of emotional connection with her. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a brother or a boyfriend or a cousin or a good friend or something. Once it was revealed that he was her brother, but I think he's a foster brother, but she still felt a brother connection
Right.
to him. I thought it was interesting, and it really has shown that she's not the straight arrow that she's portrayed herself to be. Because she lied on her paperwork, which was like a bit no-no. And she's done a few things. She was dating that married man a couple of episodes ago.
Okay.
So I don't think she's a straight arrow. I think the last couple of episodes, we're going to see a major reveal of Talia.
Can I just say,
with
though,
a devilish.
straight arrows are boring as hell. So, straight arrows are boring. And it just it gives us more depth to her character, but it also explains why I feel like she is by the book in a lot of areas, and she's very strict and disciplined in a lot of areas, and I think that's to compensate for the areas with which she has faltered, which, that being the married man and, lying to get in, but at the same time also, kind of for all intent and purpose, abandoning their brother. I think it was kind of tricky, that whole situation.
And the situation, let's just stop for a second and break it down, because we're talking about Officer Bishop
right.
and the situation involving Dylan and Terry, and she obviously has this connection to Dylan, and so she ends up following Dylan because she thinks that he's going to be up to no good or hanging out with Terry, which will be troublesome. So
right, well, because she doesn't want him to, hang out with Terry because he's a bad influence. So that lets us know that, him and Terry have a background, and he swore up and down that, no, I don't rock with Terry like that anymore. Mm-hmm. We can see the concern, but at the same time, he's like, yo, like, why are you so concerned? Like, you weren't concerned when you pieced out and you left me. And then you kind of acted like I didn't exist. But at the same time, she knew what she wanted for herself. And unfortunately, the way things are, the truth of the matter is that had she admitted that she was related or had any kind of affiliation with him, she might not have gotten into the academy.
True. And I think it might have been avoided if she had simply shown that she was following him and just openly stood outside the house and been like, dude, I'm watching you. And that would have kept him from going to the stash house and getting shot, and then the other friend getting shot.
Right, so
she was hiding and watching to make sure.
He goes to the stash house. She follows, right?
Yes.
And then she plans to arrest them.
Yes.
Right, and then somebody gets a drop on them, which is a drop on her, which is Maurice.
So now she's cornered. Now she's basically taken hostage, thrown in the van. Did you see that coming? Because it seemed like to me she was going to make that arrest, and the next thing you know, she's the hostage in a difficult situation.
I'm glad that they put her. Excuse me, I'm trying not to cough. So I'm glad that they chose to put her in the van, because at first the way my man was standing there with the gun, like he looked like he was locked, loaded, and ready, and he was about to just pump her full of some hot stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm glad that the van was the option, and they weren't immediately getting ready to kill her. But then later on,
And let's go to later on, right now.
Right now, and then she said, like, dude, where do you think we're going? Like, he's getting ready to take us somewhere so he can pop me, shoot me in the head.
Speaking of popping and in the head, this isn't in the head, but what actually is the end result here? Because so we fast forward in their chase, and right when you think, it looks like Terry is going to shoot Officer Bishop, then Dylan comes through and saves the day.
Right. No, but wait, can we even jump back? She pretty much called that entire, how everything was going to play out, even when she said, look, don't go in there. Like, you're going to get shot. And he was like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, girl. And he goes in there, and got shot. And then, fast forward to the whole van. and then her saying he's gonna try and kill me, and then that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and thankfully Dylan saves her, right?
Yes.
By
Yes.
shooting Terry and killing him.
But she followed because she was planning on arresting them. So Dylan, he made the right choice, but he kind of made the wrong choice because she arrested him.
Okay, so Cherry says she made the right choice and the wrong choice. You guys can choose what side of the fence you're on.
Wait, pause.
Right
You
or
said
wrong
that
choice?
you said the bishop made the wrong choice?
She made the wrong choice following them stationed outside the house, which she was told not to do.
Okay.
She wasn't supposed to look him up.
Okay.
She decided to watch from afar at his house and follow him.
So she made the
to
wrong
his drug
choice. That's what you're
activity.
saying.
A
right?
lot of them, apparently.
Do you think she made the right or wrong choice, Cass?
It's one of those things where it's a gray area. It's not black or white, because on one hand you can say, yeah, she made the wrong choice because she didn't necessarily follow the order she was given. However, as a cop, you might clock out and put on your regular clothes and go home, but you're still a cop at the end of the day, so you're always on alert. And that's her job. And then it just happens to be that, she's even more emotionally invested because that was her brother. So, wrong
or wrong choice?
But I'm going to go ahead and say right choice because she was trying to protect her brother.
That's what I'm trying to get at. We got right choice, wrong choice. What about you guys? Right or wrong choice on the whole Officer Bishop in tonight's episode? Following Dylan, Terry, right or wrong choice? Get involved. Let us know in the chat, in the comments. So the thing is, there was no choice that Bishop had after, because she had to arrest Dylan.
Yes.
And so that ties that all up at the end, where basically Dylan saves Officer Bishop, and then Officer Bishop has to essentially, to save Dylan for his life, arrest him, which seems like in the moment is a tough one, but it seems like it will work out in the long run, don't you think?
No, he's going to go to jail.
You think?
For attempting to murder a cop? Kidnapping? That's
No,
like some serious...
I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to jail.
I don't think he's going to get that
gonna get-
charge.
no, he's gonna
I
get
think he's
taken
going to
off.
get charged for attempted robbery of that stash house.
Sure.
And maybe some other random other charge, but
not
he's
for
not going to.
murder.
Yeah, because he only murdered him to save her.
Exactly, and they say that in the episode. I saved the West family drama all for right now because there's a lot
Let's
of
get
it.
into it.
And it's big, and it's important in tonight's episode because Jackson really steps up, stands up to his father, who has got his own thing going on. I mean, he's
got
getting
his own
involved. I think that
thing.
whole Brady list and the dirty cop thing is playing on him because he's talking to Jackson's boss and trying to, talk to him, let him know that he shouldn't be really worrying about certain things that he might be involved in. He actually talks to his son, Jackson, and they're not on the same page.
No, they are not. Because Jackson has suspicions that the dad hasn't been totally straight and narrow. When he gave him that throwaway knife thing that you're not supposed to have against the rules? As well as once you talk to that criminal,
That's right, Oscar
and
Hutchins.
he looked through the research of the paperwork, he knew his dad wasn't 100% being honest. And so I think that's going to cause a major fracture with his belief systems, not only as a police officer, but as a son of his dad. I don't think the dad did anything bad enough where he could report him, but it definitely has shaken his belief in his dad.
Absolutely.
And to the point where he couldn't even keep it cool when he was around his dad. So his dad was like, yo, like, you kind of egging me, what's good? Like, can we talk? Like, why are you acting like this? I do not understand, son. So, it was just, it's funny to me that at one point, he's saying, talk to me, tell me what's wrong. You have by this time today to let me know. And then when they get in there and he tells him, like, look, I met so-and-so. He told me a few things. I kind of feel some kind of way about it. I now kind of think you might be dirty. Let's talk about it. And he was just so... Oh, goodness, I don't even know what the word is. I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But he was just so... just upset and taken aback. Like, who do you think you are? Like, I am a commander. You're not finna sit here and question me, and I'm your daddy. So not only can I reprimand you at your job, but I'm gonna take you home and whoop that butt. And he was hot, but at the same time, I'm like, but you can't be mad because you wanted to know what was on his mind, what was wrong, and he told you.
And Jackson actually says something very that stuck with me. He says to him, "I'm not a boy, I'm a police officer." That was to me a big moment in tonight's episode where he stands up to his father, lets him know straight up that he's taking this seriously, and their relationship is changing.
He's like, "Don't confuse me being your son with me being a cop, fam."
Well, it ends with him telling him to get out of my sight. So obviously Jackson is growing up before our eyes, serious from the start of the season to now. Now it's serious. What do we think is going to happen with the West family drama as it continues? How do you think this is going to go?
So I don't know, because it can go a lot of different ways. I thought because we also didn't address where Commander West goes and he talks to Sergeant Gray, and he's like, "Hey, like, what's up? What's going on with my son?" And he's basically trying to get tabs on the son, and he's like, "Look, no favors."
He tells him no special favors.
No favors. And he's like, "Well, I told you should have paired him up with Bradford." And he's like, "Look, no favors." Later we see Commander West also, say, "Look, because of this whole Jenkins thing, it's got legs, it's got tentacles, so it's going to, filter down. Make sure your ship is tighten everything up, because they're going to be looking at everything," which, also ties in with Bishop, but we'll get to that. When they have their next confrontation, Commander West and, and Officer West, he apologized, and he gave him a heartfelt apology, and he swore on his innocence that he was not a dirty cop. And I like Michael Beach because he's a great actor, but I hate every single character he plays. But that's great because he does play those characters exceptionally well. But this is the one time where I actually felt for him, and I was like, "No, like, dude." And Wes was still like, "Yeah, nah, no time. Deuces."
It's going to be something to watch as the next couple episodes come up in the season finale, because there's something clearly simmering amongst the police ranks, definitely in the West family. Stay tuned. Let us know what you think, how that's going to play out with the father, the son.
And to answer your question, because I do everything long form, yes, it's going to be icy, rocky, and I think they still have a long ways to go. Wes doesn't trust him, and he's still going to be very suspicious, and he might even continue to pursue kind of investigating it on the side.
I like your long form. We got only a few more minutes left, so we're going to go short form for the rest of the way. You gave us a good segue with Bishop, you said, and how that goes, because she's got to talk to someone. She actually ends tonight's episode, she tells Nolan, "I need to talk to someone, but not you," when he's looking out for her. He wants to talk, so she actually goes in and mentions to the boss that, she forgot to leave, put something on her form, mention that Dylan is, her family, and they spent a year in, the house together. And how'd you take that all?
This was not the good time to come clean and be honest.
Really? Okay.
And it all goes back to what I said before. She decided to stick her nose in something. She should have stepped back, because now Dylan's arrested. He's going to tell everybody what happened, and that's why she confessed. So it's going to be some major repercussions for her.
Okay. Chaos?
Okay. Excuse me. So, a couple things. One, I liked how, we got to see Nolan. As soon as Sergeant Gray called him, he was like, "Yo, I'm out. 100 million. I don't care. I gotta go." I like that. I even liked when, they had that little interaction briefly. You could see that he cares about her. I wish she would just warm up just a little bit more. We did get to see more emotion from her tonight, where she was, emotional when she thought she might die, in front of her brother. I don't know. I feel like what you said, she shouldn't have said anything. And I have to wonder, we don't know 100% that Dylan, even though he's upset right now and probably in his feelings, we don't know that he would throw her under the bus. We do not know that. And then it just makes me think, like, she could have waited to see and then brought it up, because I just feel like they're going to take him in for these things, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that she was going to be investigating anyway, because that's what she was going to do that day anyways. So it doesn't necessarily have to come out that they were related.
Right.
They have the body cam.
All right.
And
Well, let us
See,
know.
there you go.
Guys,
I forgot about
guys,
that.
we have only a few minutes left. Let's
Okay,
get
I'm
through
sorry.
this.
Let's go.
Let us know in the chat what you guys think. Finally, the Nolan case is dismissed. It was a good segue that you led us there again. He doesn't have to pay anything. It's
Yes.
dismissed. The young lawyer looks good. We
Does
have
his thing.
news and predictions to get to. Let's get to the news. You've got news for us, Cherry, don't you?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, first of all, the police really love Nathan Fillion and Alexi Hawley, producers of the show, because they're going to be being honored at Twice a Citizen's banquet on May 4th. If you go to the Rookies Facebook or Instagram account, if you want to buy tickets to attend, tickets are available.
Very
And
cool.
of course, we have some Nathan Fillion news. His birthday was March 27th. Happy belated birthday,
Happy
Nathan
birthday.
Fillion.
Belated birthday.
And that's our news.
That's a great news segment. Thank you so much, Cherry. Let us know what you guys thought about the news segment, and tell Cherry, especially, she works hard to give you the best and latest news on The Rookie and everyone a part of it. And finally, let's do some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well,
Am I first?
Ladies
Moi?
first.
I think Nolan's connection and relationship with Talia is going to make him be a hero, and he's going to try and save her, and it's going to cause some major problems, and he's going to be on the crap list since the previous captain is dead that was sort of protecting him.
Good one.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say that I think that Jackson's father is going to be one of the next officers arrested.
Oh.
Shocker.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. I wasn't
Yes,
even
I
going in
hit you
that
with right
direction.
heel right there. That's
you
right.
did. You
and
did.
Now,
My
and
jaw
now Karis
hurts.
is about to hit us with right heel. What do we got?
Okay, real quick, we didn't talk about, but I just want to just mention, I love the fact that Lopez went above and beyond to get the lines of communication established for Samantha and their family. Okay, so yes, Nolan trying to protect and or defend Bishop, he's definitely going to get in trouble. But I don't know, man. Like she put her neck out on the line for him, so I think we're gonna see it unfold. I think they're just gonna, blow this whole up, make us get all worried, like she's really gonna lose her job. She's not gonna lose her job, but I definitely think that there's gonna be some more strict reprimands coming down the line, and we might see her get suspended. We might see him get suspended. On the flip side, I think that we're going to see more of Bradford just kind of letting loose and relaxing. He's got a new hobby now with Chin, so their bond right now as a partnership is going to get a little bit tighter. And I'm going to leave it on that super, super happy, friendly note, because you just hit everybody with the Commander West is about to get locked up. I don't even know if I want to entertain that, but then
Well,
again, I don't really care that much. So
wanna-
about Commander West.
I want to hear who the chat wants to say and what they think about our predictions, and let us know your predictions, whether it's on social media, in the comment section, the chat. Make sure to leave us 5 stars, review, rate, like, tell your friends to do it, and then do it again, because that's how they keep the TVs and the lights on here at AfterBuzz TV. Tell them where they could find you guys.
All right, you already know. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Real quick, you can find me on Twitter, KaosJ, KAOSJ. You can also find me on Instagram, Chaos_Jones.
I'm Cherry_LA on Twitter and Instagram, and Thursdays at Supernatural Thursday.
And I'm Michael Rippey, and you can find me all over social media at Mike Rips. Thanks so much for watching another episode of ABC's hit The Rookie here at AfterBuzz TV. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.